Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pastor Bruce. Welcome to amvoice.net and One Man's Voice. Today I want to talk about the State of the Union address last night that occurred on the January 30th, 2018. Some of the things I want to point out is that President Trump spoke about all the good things that happened in this country for the last year. Unemployment rate going down, stock market going up, 401ks getting stronger and better for those who are looking for retirement. And that's a good thing. When he talked patriotic speeches, the camera went over to the Democratic side. Did you see anybody stand? When he talked about being a proud American, about standing for the flag, about the national anthem, did you see any of them standing up? No. They all looked disgusted. And when he talked about the black unemployment rate being the lowest that it's been in years or ever been, they shined the light on the Black Caucus. One, maybe two, just sit and clapped. They didn't stand for that. Who do the Democrats think they are? Even the Black Caucus hates the idea that black people are back to work. They're not excited over the fact that their congregation or their heritage, their people, however you want to call it, are starting to work again and starting to make money and starting to make something out of themselves. And they're all sitting there with African sort of clothing on to show they're African Americans. Well, fine, be African Americans. But for the African Americans in this country that are making money now because they're back to work, you didn't have the audacity to stand. For you Democrats who are millennials, think that this Democratic Party cares about you. The State of the Union last night proved it. Look at Nancy Pelosi. She looked like she was having a diarrhea movement. Her face was so ugly last night that she couldn't wait to get out of there. Refused to support in any way, shape, or form. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up and smell the roses. The Democrats do not want us to get better. They want us to be destroyed. They want to bring us down so that we become a socialist nation under the rule of the UN. And that is what the president is stopping. And they hate it. That's why they want to obstruct everything. So for my black brothers and sisters that are out there, just look at the faces of the Black Caucus when they say black unemployment is the lowest it's ever been. Think about that. And how they just sat there and couldn't care less about you and your jobs and the jobs that are being offered to the people of all races and colors. Kennedy, in the aftermath speech, came out and talked about how the rich were getting richer and the corporate CEOs were making 300% more than the lowest man on the totem pole. But he mentioned nothing about how the 401ks were growing stronger and how your future for retirement, you'll have money in your pocket to do that with. You see, they don't like the idea that they took the taxes and lowered it because that's more money in your pocket and less money in the pocket of the government. Now, Donald Trump also sat there and talked about the dreamers. And he's talking about the American dreamers. You know, you young ladies that sit there and dream about the white dress and the Prince Charming and getting married and having the house and the white picket fence and 2.5 kids and getting a good paying job and working and taking care of yourself and standing independent and alone and free like every American should be. Those are your dreams. You want to be a CEO, you want to be a president of a corporation, you want to own your own business or be the president or senator or House of Representative members. Those are your dreams. You Americans who are born here, those are your dreams. I don't care the color of your skin. They were your dreams. They are your dreams. But the Democratic Congress, when they talked about dreams, didn't stand and applaud the dreams of the American people. They only care about the dreams of those 1.8 million that Donald Trump is willing to give citizenship to. As long as they build the wall, stop chain migration, and the lottery system. We cannot have this. We cannot have open borders. Do we want to? Is this being racist? No, it's not being racist. We have jobs in this country that need to be filled, and we do not have the individuals who are educated in the capability of performing those jobs. Why? We're under-educating our children. We're making nothing more than puppets and slaves because they don't have the intelligence to get the jobs that they need. Now, if you listen to that teacher that I spoke about yesterday, who degraded individuals who went into the military, said they're not academics. Well, you show me an 18-year-old who's an academic. A 17-year-old who wants to go to college is an academic. They don't know. They just know they want to get into college and get more of an education to get a better living. And that's fine. And for those who just don't want to do school anymore, they have an option. They can go into the military. And for you Democrats that are listening, you Democrats that heard what that teacher had to say out in California, I will say this to you. The heroes have come home. But there are greater heroes that died so that ignorance and stupidity in this teacher could be expressed. That heroes died so the Democratic Party can obstruct the government and try to destroy the government. Heroes died for the Democrats to be hateful and discriminatory. You don't hear the Democrats anymore or the liberal left anymore spouting off about being politically correct because they can't do that because they're not politically correct. It is the Democratic Party that every chance they get, they stand up and holler out, the rule of law, the rule of law. Yet they're the first ones to break it. And then they sit there and put the blame on other people. Now that stuff is really starting to come out about the Russians, we find the collusion is on the side of the Democratic Party. We find that the reset button was a way for Hillary Clinton to tell the Russians, we're going to help get you stronger. Make them more powerful. Why? Well, because we need socialism in this world. And if communism can switch over to socialism, then we can get the Americans to switch over to socialism. We'll have a socialist government under the UN. Donald Trump is stopping the redistribution of wealth throughout the world, and that's rightly so. We should not be paying our enemies to vote against us. We should be paying them to support us. And those countries that vote against America, that hate America, that refuse to acknowledge America in any way, shape, or form, we're not paying them, and we shouldn't pay them. Oh, gee, I know you hate me, so here's $30 billion for the government and the military so your people can starve. The Paris Accords. Now, they're talking about clean air quality. Look at independent Bernie Sanders, the socialist in our government, sitting there saying that it was a lousy speech because he mentioned nothing about global warming. Oh my gosh. Get over yourself. Okay? Because he hates the fact that we pulled $30 billion out. Ladies and gentlemen, that money, along with the money that we give to the UN, the countries that voted against us, and many other amounts of money that we hand out to other governments, is nothing more than redistribution of wealth from a rich country to everybody else. The problem is everybody else gives it to the government and to the military and doesn't give it to the people. And the people starve. The people go without proper housing. They're living in rags. And that's why when you sit there and hear the comment about the S-holes countries like South Africa, there are countries like that the people live in garbage because the governments that receive money from the American people don't do anything with it but put it in their own pockets. So the next time you sit there and think that he's insulting the people. He's not. He's insulting the governments that allow their countries to get like the S-holes that they are. Kennedy failed to understand that his 401k, along with everyone else's, is growing rapidly under Trump. And he attacks the tax cuts. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Crybaby Schumer, all of them sat there. When it came to saying I'm a proud American, that I stand for the national anthem, that I salute the flag, that I put my hand over my heart to say the Pledge of Allegiance, they sat. That's what socialists do, people. They sat there. They refused to acknowledge our democratic republic and the freedoms that we hold. The one true thing about the democratic republic is we are free people to make our own choices. Under socialism and under the Democratic Party, you can't make your own choice. The government will make it for you. We are not puppets. We are not children. And one of the things that we need to do, which wasn't really mentioned last night, is we need to get our educational system out from underneath the federal government, because it's controlled by Democrats and they're destroying the educational system in this country. We used to be in the top 5 back in the 1950s and 60s. Today, we're about 37th in the industrial nations. 37th. We have dropped that low because of our educational standards. Because we no longer teach English and math and sciences. We teach feelings and socialism. We, like the teacher, disrespect the military that are willing to sacrifice their lives and die for ignorant people like that teacher. That's what they attack. That's what socialists attack. And for all of you millennials that listen to this, all of you who understand the American way of life, understand that if we die as a nation, if we turn socialism into socialism, this world will suffer. Now, for you Christians out there, we go under a one world government, that starts the end. Revelation talks about how we will become one world government with one world leader, and he will be the Antichrist. The UN wants to take over this world by 2030, and there are no democratic countries up there in the leadership position. They are socialist countries. So you know that if we go under the UN, it's going to be a socialist system. And it's going to get rid of the capitalist financial system that we have, which is making everybody around the world money. And last but not least, if you look at the agenda for 2030 for the UN's one world government, they will, by individual and countries, redistribute the wealth to those who need it, and they will do it by force if necessary. That's the frowning faces of the Democratic Party that refuse to support the president. That's what they want. They want to take your money away from you and give it to others, and others meaning the governments and the military, not the people. And because of that, they're upset at the fact that we are no longer moving towards socialism, but we're growing stronger as a democratic republic. Nancy Pelosi has lost, I think I said, over 1,000 seats since she's been in power of the Democratic minority. And because of that, if she loses more, let's see how strong the Democratic Party will stand up against this woman who's a failure, just like her hero, Hillary Clinton, is a failure. When you want to go against what the American people want, you're going to fail. We are strong. We are united. That was the message of the president last night. To unite. I don't care that the majority of the population is Democrat. The Democrats should be joining the Republicans and saying, we're going to make this country great again. We're going to put our people back to work again. We're going to have strong 401ks. We're going to have a good, positive health care plan to help everyone. We are going to have better schools to help everyone. And we are going to work to create beautiful inner cities and to make our country beautiful and strong and worthy to be called American cities and not slums and S-holes like the rest of the world have. And I don't talk about the people, I talk about the countries. And those biggest S-holes here in this country are controlled and run by Democrats. And they're turning them into sanctuary states, but they're going to lose federal money. And it's going to get worse in your cities until you turn against the Democratic leadership of your state and your city and say, we want Republicans. We want to make our cities and our states better again. Lose more seats in local elections and national elections under Nancy Pelosi. And let's see if the Democrats say enough is enough with you. Get out of here. It's time that we change, people. This is a revolution. They're trying a coup to take over our government and make it a socialist government. This is the time for the patriots of both parties, Democrat and Republican, to stand up and say, we're not turning this into a socialist nation. We're going to keep it a democratic republic, and we're going to elect Republicans to make sure that that happens. And then we're going to send a message to the Republicans, you better keep it. Because if you start turning like the Democrats did, we will get rid of you too. We'll find people to put in office that care about the American people, who hold true to this saying, we are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And not, we are the government of the people for the government or for the political party. It's time we fight back. It's time our voices were heard and say enough of the crap that the Democrats are giving us. You saw it last night in the speeches, or when they shine the light onto the Democrats. They sat there constipated. They couldn't smile. They couldn't applaud. They couldn't stand because it was all positive about unity and the growth of the American people. They sat riveted in their chairs, being obstructionists, saying, we don't care about that. We don't care about the American people. We care about the dreamers, but we don't care about the dreams of the American people. And Kennedy afterwards did the same thing. He only put it in words. We care more about the dreamers than we do the American dreamers. The American dreamers want jobs. They want a life. They want to live. They want to be able to party. They want to be able to have a good time and not be on welfare and food stamps and Social Security and live in low-income housing. They want to be more prosperous. But the Democrats want to suppress the American people and make us socialists. Will you listen and pay attention? And when it comes time for the election of 2018, vote the Democrats out. Put more Republicans in. And then we'll send a message to the Republicans. You better cover your case. You better CYA, cover your ass. Because we're coming after you if you don't take care of the American people. And for those Republicans who are not standing with the president to make us great again, they need to go. They need to be kicked out. We need a united government of the people, for the people, by the people. We need a united government that's going to sit there and say, we don't care about ourselves, we care about the American people. And what decisions we make are going to be for the American people, not for the political party. Now, one of the things I haven't heard said or mentioned or anything, that if you millennials don't understand it, Donald Trump isn't taking a paycheck. And they go, oh, well, yeah, because he's rich. Well, yeah, Obama had money. He took a paycheck. Clinton had money. He took a paycheck. Bush had money. He's rich. Both Bushes are rich. They took paychecks. This president is sitting here saying, I'm not here for myself. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to make a retirement check. I'm here for the American people. And I will do what needs to be done for the American people. Not for the dreamers that want to stay here, but for the American people. Because you have dreams too. So if you really like to be a Democrat, I suggest you watch the State of the Union address again and you see the negativity and the hatred and the disgust that the Democratic Party showed when positive things were being said about our country. This is Pastor Bruce. Thank you for listening. It's one man's voice. I don't care if you like it or not. That's tough. That's what free speech is all about. And I hope and I pray that your tomorrows will be more prosperous and more fruitful than they have been in the past. Thank you. God bless and have a great day.